So guys, if you know, SOPs and LORs, basically application essays that you submit and letter of recommendations, are some of your most important part of your applications apart from the profile that you've built over the years. These are separate from your GPA, separate from your research work, and essentially a still big part of whether you get accepted to a university or not. Today, I'm going to be sharing with you my experience, and we have actually worked with, I would say, couple dozen Ivy League graduates who have helped us with thousands of SOPs and LORs over the last 3 or 4 years, I would say at the moment. Actually, more than 3 years, yeah. And with those 5,000 plus drafts that we have done, I want to give you my experience as to which ones have built out the best results, have given us essentially the best scholarships, the best admissions in topmost universities, even Ivy League ones. And these are going to be the top 3 tips that I'm going to be giving you for the SOPs and LORs. Just in case you would need more help, by the way, you can always reach out to me. My WhatsApp number is in the description and the YMGrad website link over here, where you can check out the statement of purpose or essay drafting for MBA essays, right? And the LOR drafting services, where you can learn more about the process and what we can do to help you. Now, getting started. For the SOPs, my 3 biggest tips, and I want to keep this short, I want to keep this video concise. The first step is to follow no template. It's very important that you write your own story, carve out a story, and essentially this is what has helped us bring success to a lot of applicants in their applications. We would not select a particular template just because the student is applying to a particular college or university or program. The template is not decided as such by the student's profile either. It's about their story, and it's about putting that story out in a way that actually appeals to anyone who reads it. It makes them want to know the student better. It makes them curious. There's a hint of curiosity in there. There's a hint of suspense in there. There's a hint of, oh, how did the student take this pathway? This is so unique, right? So that's what we are looking for. We're not looking for a generic, draft wherein we start with the maybe the projects and we end up with the work experience and why this university as such. Like, we actually would like to carve out the student's story in a way that it really reflects on who they are, what their personality is, and what is unique about them. Right? This could be their learnings, their contributions, and what kind of things they came out with that they are currently bringing to the table if they're accepted into the program. So all of that comes into the picture, guys. And of course, you have to write beautifully, artistically. Don't think about your GRE scores or, oh, my AWE on GRE is low, oh, my TOEFL or IELTS writing score is not that good. You're writing those tests and you have a timer hanging on top of your head. This is not the same case. This is much different, right? You have unlimited time. So produce the best version of the draft that you can. The second point, and people really don't listen, even when I repeatedly have been saying this over the years, be concise. If the word limit is 1,000 words or 2 pages, it's completely okay to submit a draft with just 400, 600 words in it as well. But as drastic as that may sound, you have to have a killer draft like that, right? If you have a 500 worded draft and the word limit is 1,000, trust me, people are gonna be happy to see it because they're actually evaluating so many drafts every day. Now, I'm not really over exaggerating over here as well. I'm not saying that make it just a 200 word draft when the word limit is 1,000. But the most, I would say, good drafts would lie between somewhere around 500 to 700 words, not more than that in most cases. All right. So try not putting in everything in there unless, of course, it's very important that you have it. In that case, of course, you can't really change it. But the more concise you can be, really, ask yourself the question, is this exact project or is this exact paragraph really needed, or does the admissions committee need to know about this, or have I covered this point anywhere else in my application, right? Maybe I mentioned something else on the application portal that already covers this. If yes, remove it from your SOP, remove it from your MBA essay, whatever it is. All right, but really important, try to keep it short and crisp, because trust me, that helps you get the brownie points if you can convey your point in a lesser number of words. Okay. And remember, always stick to the prompt. Always understand what they're asking and then write. Don't randomly begin a draft by not even looking at the instructions that the university gives you. Finally, Every single one of us has made this mistake in their lives, I'm pretty sure, at some point at least. Review your draft. I know personally, a lot of times, even in my applications, when I was in a hurry, I wanted to make it to round one deadlines. What I did was I actually submitted without actually running a Grammarly check. I submitted without actually getting a review of it. So those things should not be done. It's not a good thing, okay? That's immaturity. That's immaturity that shows up on your drafts. And that's essentially why we have a very heavy review system, for instance, for anyone who works with us on a draft. So even after the Ivy League graduate works, an in-house writer reviews it, there's plagiarism checks, there's all kinds of checks that we do, grammar checks, etc., etc. But you have to have those checks for yourself as well. Of course, this does mean do not take information from the internet and paste it in your story. Like I said, it has to be your story. It has to be your draft. All right. So that's my 3 biggest tips today for the SOPs. LORs are going to be much quicker. Okay. Number 1, waive your right to view the LORs. Universities really don't like to see that you have not waived your right, and whatever your recommenders are writing about you, that is being shown to you as well. That's generally not the way to go. Okay. Now, how do you actually fix that? How do you actually remove that doubt that will my recommender submit something good for me? Well, that is in the choosing of your recommenders. That's always in your hands. So choose them very, very carefully. They should be people you trust. Number 1, that is the highest priority requirement. They should be people you trust. And sometimes people ask me, hey, this one is a little bit better, they're a PhD, well, while this one is just a master's degree holder. Should we choose the PhD because they're better, but we don't really have good relations with them? You choose the one that you have good relations with. That's important over here. Of course, the second most priority I would give to high industry value. They have to have a good industry value if they're in the industry or the academia, wherever they are. If possible, choose someone with a reputable brand name, okay? And that's important because that would actually help your application stand out. But this should not be done at the cost of basically choosing someone you do not trust, which can actually hamper things for you. Of course, please ensure that they use an official email ID. If they cannot use a letterhead, that's okay, that's very well qualified, don't worry about it. But the official email ID should not be skipped under any circumstances. If it is, then try to use a letterhead, and but still remember that university may actually go ahead and do additional verification for that reference, okay? Finally, point number 3 is to use examples instead of worshipping you as a client. Now, this depends. If you are in collaboration with your recommender, you're working on it, which many, I would say Indian students do at least. If you're not doing that, if let's say that your recommender wants to write the LORs themselves, that's okay. Give them pointers in advance. Let them know that, hey, I know that you are going to be drafting my LORs yourself. That's great. But these are some of the examples that maybe you could use while you're actually drafting my LORs. So maybe you could have this example. Remember when I did this in class, and you what you did was you actually awarded me something for it in the fest or something of that sort. Whatever happened, right? You want to remind them that, all right, these were the things that I shined through on, because remember, that recommender is probably recommending five other people. All right, if they use a generic template, your application is dead. So you want to make sure that whatever you do, you give them specific examples which they can put in your draft, right? Which is very important, because that will actually not just show the committee that, hey, this student is good, right? If I'm the recommender and I'm saying, hey, this student is good, you should take him. Why is this student good? I want examples, right? I would want to look at exactly why the student is good. Like if the student is hardworking, how is he hardworking? What kind of instances are there that prove that, right? So I want to know those stories, those instances, those anecdotes, right? And those have to be a part of your LOR, because those are the ones that prove your worth. All right, so those are my 3 biggest tips for the SOPs and LORs. Remember, again, just in case you'd like to get more help, my number is in the description, and you can always reach out, using the SOP LOR services as well that we have over here. I hope that this video helps. There's a lot more content just like this on our Instagram page, so make sure to follow that. And I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye and take care for now.